Nemleria is one of the new archetypes introduced in Cyberstorm Access, which is set to hit the TCG quite soon. Playing in a very different way to your average Pendulum archetype, Nemleria revolves around summoning the Dreaming Nemleria Pendulum monster, who notably cannot be Pendulum summoned. Instead, the archetype focuses on banishing its entire extra deck face down, allowing you to summon Dreaming Nemleria and trigger her incredible on-field effect, which allows you to non-targeting banish up to 5 cards from your opponent's field or graveyard. To back it up, the archetype has 2 level 10 monsters and a continuous spell that gives your deck great protection and solid field presence. However, this is a Wave 1 deck, so it isn't completely self-sufficient. As such, I've chosen to play Eldlich alongside it, as the two engines work surprisingly well together. The amount of level 10s makes access to powerful rank 10 Xyz monsters like Gustav Max easy, and the two archetypes reinforce each other's control game plans very well, while rarely running into each other's locks. With a unique ability to take advantage of powerful staples like Pot of Extravagance and Eater of Millions, this deck is certainly worth taking a look at. Here's a look at a hand that shows off both Nemleria and Eldlich. This hand consisting of Sweet Dreams Nemleria, Hero of the Golden Land, Cursed Land, and 2 Elixir Scarlet Sanguine. First, we go ahead and activate Sweet Dreams. This allows us to search Dreaming Nemleria, and we can then use her effect to send herself to the extra deck and place a Nemleria continuous spell face up on the field. In this case, Dream Tower of Princess Nemleria. I go ahead and activate Cursed Land and use its effect, but the order of this combo doesn't really matter. After going ahead and searching Conquistador, we can then use Dream Tower's effect, banishing 2 cards from our extra deck face down to search 2 level 10 beast monsters with different names from our deck. In this case, the 2 main Nemleria level 10s, Aureller and Coet. Coet gives target protection of a Nemleria card once per turn at the cost of banishing a card from the extra deck face down, and Aureller can gain attack based on the amount of opponent's cards your opponent controls at the cost of banishing an extra deck card. Both can be special shown from the hand if you have a face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck, in this case, Dreaming Nemleria. So we can go ahead and summon them, and then set our 3 Eldlich traps. So what does this handboard do? Well, the Nemleria monsters can be protected from destruction by Dream Tower, and keep in mind, this protection is not once per turn. Coet can protect a Nemleria card from being targeted once per turn, even Dream Tower. Then the Eldlich engine is completely online here, with Conquistador's Pop and Hakiro's Graveyard Banish both being available and pretty strong. While this isn't the most interaction-heavy board, it is very hard to completely break through and can make some very strong follow-up plays. A turn to Gustav Max or Yasenju Dieback can make for a great aggressive push even if most of your board gets destroyed. How about an example game? In this case, this is a duel against a test Sorcerer opponent, and we are going second. This is a hand consisting of Fenrir, Aureller, Cursed Land, Sweet Dreams, and Golden Lord. Our opponent actually has a pretty strong hand. We'll go through the pretty standard Sword Soul combos, ending on a board of Chi-Xiao, Tragite, Changing, Blackout, and Forbidden Chalice. Then we go ahead and go to our draw phase, drawing a Lava Golem, and because we don't really have a normal summon in this hand, we can use the Lava Golem to tribute to the opponent's monsters, in this case, Dragite and Changing. This because Dragite can stop and reverse spells, and we really need Sweet Dreams to resolve, and Changing's banish is very annoying, but we can play through Chi-Xiao by using Fenrir. We go ahead and use Fenrir to bait out this interaction, successfully getting the Chi-Xiao. Afterwards, we can use Outland to bait out an Ash Blossom, in this case, successfully searching Conquistador. Now we can go through the standard Nemleria lines, searching Dreaming, using his effect to place a Dream Tower in the field, and banishing 2. Because we already have Aureller in hand, we can instead search Yasenju Dieback. Afterwards, we summon the 2 Nemleria monsters, and then we use Aureller's effect to bait out back row, successfully baiting out the Chalice. We can then use Golden Lord to remove the last back row and bring it back to the field. After triggering Outland to send out Hero to the grave, we go to battle, remove all monsters remaining on the field, and dealing 5100 damage. In the end phase, we set 2 elixirs and pass. The opponent summons Adhara, and because Adhara could recycle the Taya, I choose to banish it with Fenrir. The opponent has Taya in hand anyways, but they still have to break through this entire board off of 1 card, so we're pretty confident. After going ahead, going through the combos, summoning Chi-Xiao, Pushing black out, they go to battle phase and clear a Fenrir, and in phase we summon the last Eldlich. They go and trade some of the cards, and after resolving a pretty long chain, we're left with almost our entire board, and the opponent is just left with a used up Jizhao. We can summon a Relic from our hand, then tribute summon dieback to remove the last remaining monster, and after going ahead and resummoning a Golden Lord from grave, we go to battle and win the game. Now here's a replay that shows off Dreaming a little more. In this case we have a hand of Fenrir, Dreaming Nemleria, Golden Lord, Sweet Dreams, and Eater of Millions. To start off, we can go ahead and summon Fenrir and use his effects to check for hand traps. Afterwards, we have two options. Either use these Sweet Dreams to fish out for an Ash again, or keep it in hand and just use Dreaming's effects. Keeping Sweet Dreams in hand not only allows for us to use its effect to give on summon protection for the Nemlerias on the following turn, it also gives us guaranteed fodder to discard for Golden Lord if we need to remove cards on the opponent's field. After going through the standard Nemleria plays, we go ahead and search the defenders, and then pass on a board of both defenders, Dream Tower and Fenrir. Our opponent will go ahead and use Inclare Ecclesia and summon Moe off of it, and it will be surrounded with a Fenrir Banish, which gets negated by Chalice. While we are out of interaction, we still have plenty of protection to wear through the opponent's board. After they go ahead and summon Longwan, we use Aurelia's effect to boost its attack before Braun hits the field. Afterwards, our opponent will attempt to destroy Aurelia, which gets negated by Coet. We don't have to negate this with Coet, but I was kind of trying to fiend out for more interaction, something like a Chalice or a Braun. Dream Tower protects our board from battle. One thing to keep in mind when you play against this deck, don't try and beat it by battle because Dream Tower protects pretty much everything from that. Go ahead and draw a Scarlet Sanguine for turn, and then we can go ahead and immediately use Golden Lord's effect to remove a card on the field. This results in a pretty large chain that leaves our opponent down 3 interactions and a board of only 2 spell traps. After this chain resolves, we can summon the Eater to clear out the rest of our extra deck, allowing for the summon of Dreaming. And one thing to note is I should have used Sweet Dreams first to make sure the Dreaming resolves on summon, but in this case it didn't end up mattering. Using its Dreaming effect, we can go ahead and banish the rest of the opponent's field and a large part of their graveyard face down, make a few plays, and swing for game. Now for a quick run through of the deck list. For the Nemleria ratios, I'm running triple Dreaming Nemleria as you want to see her in basically every hand. I'm running 2 of each defender as they're easily searchable and completely dead without access to Dreaming. Triple Sweet Dreams cranks up consistency, allowing for much faster Dreaming access, and its ability to make your Nemleria summons unrespondable can make Dreaming all the more devastating, or make an easier time pushing with the defenders against something like Trap Tricks. I'm running double Dream Tower as it's pretty easily searchable. You can recycle it from the graves like Dreaming Nemleria, and it's once per turn, but you definitely want it. It's kind of the backbone of making the deck tick and gives tons of protection. To start off with the generic cards, Dieback is a nice alternate search if you draw too many of one defender or don't need your normal summon, and is great for pushing for game. Lava Golem helps this deck a ton going second, and can be pretty devastating in the grind game if timed right. If your opponent uses all their remaining resources for a 2-monster board, a Golem can end the game on the spot. The lack of any real normal summon outside of Dieback makes this card especially strong. Fenrir is a great versatile pick, helping with board presence and interruption going first and breaking boards going second. Eater of Millions is not only a solid way to remove monsters, it's also by far the most consistent and fast way to get out a Dreaming quickly, being able to banish your entire extra deck. Dreaming plus Eater of Millions lets you summon her and use her effect on turn 1, which is very useful. I am playing Triple Extravagance, as not only does it draw 2, its cost is actually a benefit to this deck. Banishing 6 face down is a great way to speed up access to Dreaming, and your extra deck isn't really necessary enough for you to worry if you banish too many cards you want. As for the Eldlich engine, I'm running pretty standard ratios for the bare minimum Eldlich package. The gold lands are surprisingly useful in this deck. Not only are they great interaction, they're also very convenient tribute fodder for dieback. The extra deck is pretty flexible, but there are definitely some cards I'd recommend. Zeus is solid in a deck of as many Xyz monsters, and the Dark Spider Xyz give access to strong board wipes and big attack stats. The Training Engine is the one I'd say is the most important, as this deck is very good at making turn 2 Gustav Maxes for lethal pushes. Pleiades is a good way to make use of spent gold lands for interaction, and can even bounce Dreaming to hand to let you replace a destroyed Dream Tower and put it back in the extra deck for a later use on the turn. BLS is a Tower's Light that can be useful depending on the matchup, and Gravity Controller is a solid way to put Dreaming back into the extra deck for future use. This side deck is largely flexible. In this case, the only notable card I'll point out is Banquet of Millions, one of the fastest ways to banish your entire extra deck face down, and it can also act as a turn skip depending on the matchup. In conclusion, I'd say this deck has a lot of potential. While it's certainly not going to be meta, at least not in this form, it's got the skeleton for a great control strategy in the future, especially if it continues to get new support waves. Thank you for making it this far into the video. If you liked it and want to see more in the future, please feel free to subscribe or leave any feedback you have in the comment section below.